Ole dies, and it comes down to Oslo, goes to the Norsk Dagsblad, to the obituary desk, and she says, Ole died, I'd like to write an obituary. And the obituary writer says, fine, what should it say? And she said, well, just say Ole died. And he says, now, come on, he was a father, he was a grandfather, he had a huge farm, he was well liked. And anyway, the first 5 words are free.
Oh, it's got 3 to go.
Okay, how about Ole died, boat for sale?
When Sheila was dying, last summer of her life, we were having dinner outside on the back porch, a little bit of a back porch. And after dinner, the kids went out to play. They were somersaults and rolling over and having a good time. I said, Sheila, look. And she looked at me. She says, I don't care.
I'm sorry?
I don't care.
She was beyond
She had
caring.
withdrawn already.
Yeah.
That was the moment. That was.
She was gone.
Yeah, my God,
She,
that's powerful.
stayed another couple of months, but that's when I realized what
She
a
was-
divide it was.
Yeah.
I've been thinking a
Can
lot
I say
about.
something that I've been wanting to say to this guy for a long time
To which guy?
on television? This guy with the
this guy.
hair. I hate the hair.
Everybody hates his hair, Danny.
Yeah.
Stand in line.
This guy is the source of my greatest admiration. And I often tell this to people I know, because after Sheila died, he had 2 little girls, and he brought them
He
up
sure does.
by himself, without distraction, without a social life. He brought up. It makes me cry to think of it. He did it himself. Nobody told him to do it. He just did it. And the kids are the product. They're beautiful.
What wonderful
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether it felt like a sacrifice to you, but from the outside, people who knew you would say, what a man to do
It
that.
didn't. It wasn't
called
a
life.
sacrifice. It wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wa-
You were
it's
happy.
like the courage or being a hero. You just that's what you get, and
Yeah.
it was a great joy, and I had a lot of help.
You had good friends.
I had help, and of course, one of the first things that Danny said to me after Sheila died.
Oh, God.
Something awful, I'm sure.
Something awful.
God, I never know.
So you and Patty came over, and we're standing outside in the front, and I don't know if Julie was there, Freke was there, and you pulled me over to the side and you said, so tell me really, how is it? And I said, it's hard. And you said, be glad it's hard, because that's the next thing that's going to go.
I wonder let me ask you, what matters more to you now? What matters less to you now at this age?
I could say what matters more to me is to have friendship, to have guys
was
like
the-
you that we could just speak truth to, and we could laugh and talk about heavy, deep things. Have someone to talk to besides your spouse, besides your loved one. It's especially, I think, important to have male friends, because
Yes.
Morgan won't let me have any female friends.
Well, she's seen where that's
But you
led.
have male friends who will put out. That's
You've always had
That's the other problem. I have no male friends.
Jeffrey, what a tough life.
Do you guys spend a lot of time thinking about your youth these days?
Yeah, I do. And it's so present. I think about relatives, like my Uncle Augie. I love my Uncle Augie. It's my godfather. And Eni, my step-grandfather, who was more the grandfather. He's the one I can't say it in front of the camera. He taught me how to
Go
swear.
behind the camera.
Fish, yeah. And he had all these interesting swear words for different kinds of fish, like, the bullhead, if the bullhead got out of the line.
You can say
You
it.
can
Was
say
he
it.
born in this country?
Yeah, oh yeah. He was a World War I veteran. He was at the Ardennes and lost a lung and was gassed. I have these conversations almost. It's not quite that loony, but they're very present, and I relive moments.
Yeah.
Maybe even recast and
The photo that I use as my then photo at the
Yes.
at the end of the show. I was 19 years old when that was taken, and the guy
You were
who took
cute.
it, the friend, I was cute.
Yeah, very.
The
We were all
friend
pretty.
who took it sent me a note after he saw the show. He lives in New York. He's
Oh,
been
wow.
a photographer
That's
all
very
his life,
cool.
and he said, "Now that picture reminds me of an apartment I lived in San Francisco." And I wrote back, and I said, "You know, I treasure that picture. I keep that picture all the time. You know, it's like I'm looking off into the distance. I'm 19 years old, and I've just driven across country, and so." I get into moments like that
Yeah, yeah. but-
about where I'm sort of bouncing back between who I am now and who I was then and how I was then, and
I think many people at our, what do you call it, the third stage,
Act.
third act, they want to compose in their minds, if nowhere else, a narrative of their life. And so they want to give it the shape of a novel, of the kind of autobiographies and memoirs, which have straight lines in them. There is the point of view that the only straight lines in them are those that we impose on it.
Yeah.
Because
that's
we're
not the
writing
next.
the story, we can give it a, aha! I had to marry Beverly so I could divorce her and marry Freke. It was written,
Right.
But you impose this narrative on it. But in fact, a lot of them are just random events.
That brings to mind, have you fellas thought about men or women in your lives that have steered you into a direction you might not have gone, or into a direction that became very, fulfilling for you or successful for you?
Or a long dead end.
Or a long, long dead end.
lot of
Why
that.
did I listen to that man?
I could have been a contender.
Because I've had different people throughout my life. that-
And sometimes I've heard people say this, that somebody has had a big influence, something they said at just the right moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said, uh-oh, I gotta hear this and act upon it.
Right.
And then later they go and tell that friend, remember when you told me this?
I
And
have
they
no
said,
idea what
I
you're
said that.
A lot of times I used to think that those moments of decision or those moments that would shape the future were already behind me.
Do we, at this stage of our lives, not have any significant
No,
changes to
no,
make?
no,
yet?
no, not at all. No, that's my history.
You have
that
to
I
decide
was-
which oncologist to
I'm trying to follow you. You mean you think that we are still actors in the way things are going to turn out?
Yeah.
Was I ever?
Oh,
I don't see
lots of
myself
luck,
as an
buddy
actor. I kind of meandered through.
Something
major-
you'll see something a little differently, your perspective will shift a little
You're
bit, and
so
suddenly you'll be
60s. You're
different.
so 60s.
Yeah, that is.
When I was 23 years old, I went to live in the mountains of eastern Kentucky, and with a new wife, and it was like fucking unbelievable. Is there nothing new that I can do that would bring that sort of awe?
But it sounds like you want it to.
I
It
do.
sounds like you're searching.
I do.
I don't believe you. I don't think you want to do that experience again. I think you want to
No.
have another experience,
Yeah.
an age-appropriate experience.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean by that?
Like a successful thumb.
Is there anything better in life?
Not just,
What's an
not
age
just
appropriate? I mean, why do you tell me
Something,
how you?
you're not gonna move to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
even
but-
if you
but-
did,
but-
it wouldn't be
But
like that.
suppose I
and-
moved
but-
to Tanzania.
But that
Yeah.
experience that you felt within you at the age of 19, moving to Kentucky, that's what you're looking for, and that's what we all would still like.